The blinding flash of cameras lights up the hands that once held the fate of countless treasures. Rick Harrison, the heart and soul of Pawn Stars, the legendary pawn shop king known across America, now faces a life sentence with no chance of parole. Once a man with a razor-sharp gaze, sizing up the value of an item in mere seconds, a master negotiator who left millions of viewers on the edge of their seats, Rick is now just a shadow of himself, standing dazed before the judge. The confident smile that defined him has faded. The sharp strike of the gavel rings out, closing the curtain on a television empire. What drove Rick Harrison from the pinnacle of fame to the depths of despair? How could a name cherished by millions of American households end up facing such a severe punishment? If you're as shocked as we are, dive into the full video to uncover what the FBI discovered in Rick Harrison's mansion. You won't believe it. The curtain of night didn't fall with the crack of gunfire or a piercing accusation, but with a subtle ripple in the ledger. Early in 2022, under the relentless scrutiny of a joint task force between the IRS and the FBI, the iconic gold and silver pawn shop, helmed by Rick Harrison, found itself in the crosshairs of an investigation probing potential tax evasion. What seemed like minor, persistent discrepancies, shadowy cash transactions, and murky origins of merchandise sparked unease among investigators. At first, they suspected a routine case of tax dodging, just another clever maneuver by a mid-sized Nevada business skirting the law. But as the FBI dug deeper, a chilling truth emerged. Rick Harrison, the beloved Pawn Stars icon adored by millions, wasn't merely a businessman. He was the linchpin of a blood-soaked criminal empire. Determined to unearth the full scope of the deception, a specialized FBI unit in Las Vegas launched a daring raid on Harrison's financial stronghold. What they uncovered inside didn't just stun the investigators, it unleashed a seismic shockwave that reverberated across the nation. As the FBI's 20-person task force stormed the Harrison estate on the west side of Las Vegas, they had no idea that beneath its polished, opulent facade lay an entirely different world. Each door they pried open unveiled another layer of secrets. The deeper they ventured, the clearer it became. Rick Harrison had transformed his home into a vault of deadly truths, a fortress concealing an empire built not just on expertise and wealth, but on a sprawling web of crime hidden for years. Special Agent Sarah Morales, who led the raid, put it starkly. "In my 15 years investigating artifact crimes, I've never seen anything like this." The first bombshell came in the form of a clandestine chamber designed like a miniature gallery with state-of-the-art humidity and temperature controls, its lighting meticulously calibrated to preserve ancient relics. Behind locked glass shelves sat 47 artifacts of immense value, hailing from civilizations long gone. Initial findings were staggering, at least 18 of them, including a golden Babylonian funeral mask, a royal Persian ceramic vase, and a collection of Byzantine jewelry, matched entries in Interpol's database of treasures looted from conflict zones. But the discoveries didn't stop there. The FBI uncovered a trove of encrypted documents and hard drives exposing a labyrinthine network of transactions tied to intermediaries in Istanbul, Dubai, and Bangkok, infamous hubs for illicit artifact trading. Electronic data from Harrison's devices revealed a covert communication system using anonymous platforms like EncroChat and SkyECC. Messages brimmed with cryptic references, artifact codes, veiled price tags, and enigmatic payment terms like black gold, rice grain, and blood count, slang known in the underworld of illegal antiquities. Harrison wasn't just a dealer, though. He was the mastermind, the nerve center of the operation. The FBI traced 5 covert trips he made to Dubai, Istanbul, and Mexico City, each aligning with the sudden appearance of high-value artifacts. A $650,000 transfer from Singapore, funneled through the Isle of Man, landed in Nevada under the guise of a shadowy entity called Pawn Heritage Consultants, a name unknown to the public until that moment. The raid's most chilling revelation came at its climax. Inside Harrison's safe, agents found a metal box holding 16 encrypted USB drives and a scrawled notebook. The contents, a roster of VIP clients linked to payments totaling $12 million. Some entries were marked with red stars, corresponding to 5 individuals arrested for drug trafficking over the past 3 years. Even more horrifying, the FBI uncovered evidence of 2 bodies concealed in a hidden bunker beneath the estate. The victims' rival dealers and associates who knew too much had been eliminated by Harrison to safeguard his empire. A lingering question now haunts the FBI: how could a public figure like Rick Harrison conceal such monstrous crimes in front of millions? And what drove Rick Harrison, a man who seemingly had it all, with wealth, fame, and the adoration of countless fans, to descend into this sinister abyss of crime? As Rick Harrison's criminal web unraveled, a horrifying panorama emerged. pulling in the Department of Homeland Security (DHS) and the U.S. State Department to join the investigation. The probe revealed Harrison as a pivotal cog in a triangular smuggling scheme, artifacts looted from the Middle East and Eastern Europe, funneled through European intermediaries to markets in the US and China. Under the guise of the gold and silver pawn shop, Rick imported illicit relics, laundered them into legitimacy, and sold them through secretive auctions. From 2017 to 2023, he allegedly handled 92 artifacts worth $15 million, ranging from 5th century Buddhist statues to ancient Egyptian manuscripts. One of the most chilling discoveries came from Harrison's personal computer. The FBI cyber team uncovered a hidden file, a predator's log detailing 36 targets worldwide. Each shared a fatal trait: they knew too much about his smuggling empire. 12 names on the list matched 25 bodies found at the estate, preserved in formaldehyde as if the killer viewed them as relics themselves. Dr. Winters, a forensic expert, said with icy precision, "These weren't thrill kills. Every death was a calculated move to shield his multi-million-dollar criminal network." What horrified the FBI wasn't just the body count, 25 victims, but the fact that Harrison lived among their corpses as if they were invisible. He even recorded the torture of each victim, storing the videos in a private folder on his computer. Special Agent Rodriguez admitted with bitter resentment, he wasn't just a murderer, he was a brilliant performer, fooling the world with a friendly smile. The sheer scale of Harrison's criminal enterprise dwarfed the investigators' initial suspicions. Forensic accountants uncovered 36 secret accounts across 11 countries holding over $78 million, proceeds from plundered artifacts from Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. U.S. Customs Service flagged 73 suspicious shipments between 2015 and 2024, disguised as household goods but containing thousands of relics worth millions. Harrison didn't act alone. 7 high-level accomplices, from ex-mercenary Marcus Webb to museum curator Robert Langley, aided him in transport, money laundering, and eliminating threats. As investigators widened their lens, they stumbled on another shocking detail: Harrison's operation thrived with the complicity of dozens of corrupted officials, including politicians, customs agents, and even federal judges. At least 7 high-ranking figures in the political machine had been bribed to ensure his shipments slipped through undetected. Astonishingly, a mysterious figure, known only as Witness X, a key insider in the syndicate, surrendered to authorities in August 2024, delivering critical details about covert deals and the locations of dozens of hidden artifacts. With damning evidence and a pivotal witness in hand, Rick Harrison finally bowed his head and pleaded guilty. In late March 2025, Rick Harrison faced 29 charges including first-degree murder, orchestrating an organized crime network, smuggling artifacts, money laundering, and obstructing justice. The prosecution surged forward after a nearly 3-month investigation involving over 70 federal agents and criminology experts. By then, the truth was undeniable. Rick Harrison was the linchpin of a series of calculated killings at his estate, where the FBI uncovered 25 meticulously hidden bodies, transforming the property into a chilling gallery of death. The initial trial kicked off on September 18, 2024 at the Nevada Federal Courthouse, shrouded in tight security and relentless global media attention. Labeled the trial of the century for reality television, it drew over 200 journalists reporting live from outside the courtroom. Networks like CNN, NBC, and CBS dissected every detail daily. The prosecution's case stood on 3 unshakable pillars: physical evidence from the scene, bodies, journals, victims' personal items, digital records, encrypted messages, secret recordings, internal surveillance footage, and testimony from those who had either traded artifacts with Rick or endured his threats. Nevada's lead prosecutor, Maria Lopez, declared that an insatiable greed and obsession with power had morphed Rick into a monster ensnared in an inescapable spiral of crime. To maintain his facade, Harrison lived a double life. At the gold and silver pawn shop, he carefully directed the production crew to film only legitimate deals, while illicit artifacts were handled discreetly after hours. He enlisted top PR specialists to shape his public image, appearing at charity events with a humble air and fielding interviews with calculated charm. Even his family and the Pawn Stars team were deceived. Rick's wife and children were kept at arm's length from his covert dealings, and his staff saw him as nothing more than a jovial, occasionally eccentric boss. Special Agent Rodriguez remarked bitterly, "He didn't just fool the audience, he betrayed everyone closest to him." After 5 intense weeks of testimony, the 12-person jury delivered a unanimous verdict: Rick Harrison was guilty of first-degree murder for all 25 confirmed victims, alongside charges of smuggling, money laundering, and running a transnational crime syndicate. The sentence: life imprisonment without parole. The court also ordered the seizure of Rick's entire empire, including the estate, the gold and silver pawn shop, international bank accounts, and a multi-million-dollar artifact collection, marking the downfall of a reality TV legend. The fall of Rick Harrison sent shockwaves through the public and the television industry. The Pawn Stars crew was left reeling, grappling with the realization that they'd worked alongside a murderer for over a decade without a hint of suspicion. Rick's family was shattered. His wife fled Nevada, while his children went into hiding, cooperating with investigators to avoid legal fallout. From pawn shop king to criminal monster, Rick's journey is a searing warning about the darkness lurking behind a glittering facade. The trial has concluded, but one question lingers like a shadow. How could someone so beloved conceal such horrific secrets for so long? What do you think about this case? What shocked you the most? Does the sentence fit the crime? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and join the conversation about this jaw-dropping story. Thanks for taking the time to watch. If you found this gripping, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay in the loop on all our latest updates. See you in the next video.